Hi everybody, it's Rob here from Discover Music. How would you like to identify all the notes in major and natural minor scales, find notes for all basic chord types including sevenths, see which chords to play in any key, and create your own chord progressions to help with improvisation and composing? Well, you can do all that with Discover Music. Now, I've dabbled in guitar for years. I can play various songs and chords and scales, never really mastered the theory. Having recently retired from work, I've now got a bit more time on my hands, and I thought it was important to learn theory. Why would you need theory? Well, it'll help you understand your instrument. It's a common language when you play instruments with other people, and it can help you get more creative and better understand what you're playing. But for years I've always struggled with the concept of keys and scales. What is the point of a key? A key is a sequence of notes, but a piece of music can be written in notes that aren't in the key. So what is the point of a key? I've come to realise the main reason for all that is the music is such a vast subject. The basic concept of keys is organisation. It's a basic building blocks to help you get some knowledge together. Later on you can develop that knowledge and go off key, but at least you can realise what's going on. The team here at Discover Music have created a device that has helped us, and we are sure it's going to help you in your musical journey. Just to give you all a very brief background in music theory and to how the device was created. As you may or may not know, music is made up of 7 notes. Only 7 notes, and that pattern of notes then repeats up and down your instrument. Now if you look at an instrument like a piano, there's the A, count up to the next A, 7 notes, but there's all these black keys as well, these sharps and flats. So if you actually count every note all the way up and down from there to there, including the black ones, there's actually 12 notes. So that's 7 is only the white ones. If you include the black notes, that's made up of 12. So I've rewritten that down here. There's the A, B, C, D, but these are the notes in between. So there's actually 12 notes altogether in an octave. That octave then repeats up and down your instrument. That 12 notes is your available palette of notes that you can pick, and that's known as a chromatic scale. Now if you look on a guitar, for example, again, there's the head of the guitar. Those 2 dots is the middle of the neck. So from there to there is 12 notes, 12 frets, 12 separate playing positions. So guitar, piano split into the 12, other instruments vary. Now a scale is a sequence of notes arranged in order of frequency. The first note of the scale is called a tonic. So that would be the chromatic scale in the key of A. Now there's lots and lots of scales around. One of the most important scales, it's so important, it's actually called the major scale. There you go, it's so important. So this is made up of a specific 7-note pattern of notes and gaps in the chromatic scale. So you start on the first note, then what you do, you miss out the next note, so that would be the next key on a piano or the next fret on a guitar. Other instruments vary, and then you play that note. You skip and play that note, then you don't skip, you play the next note, skip, 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 and the next note is A again, back to the octave. So that pattern of gaps and notes, that arrangement there, gives that major scale sound, the do, re, mi sound that you know. Do, re, mi, I'm not going to sing it. So in it, what I've done there is pull down the notes. So that pattern there of gaps and notes is the major scale. There's lots of different scales around. So this example, that would be the major scale in the key of A. A is a starting point. It's also known as a tonic note. All these notes have names, but the tonic is the first note. Doesn't mean you're playing a tune like this. This isn't a tune, this is just a scale. The key thing to remember is that pattern of notes and gaps is the same regardless of the starting note. So if I move that whole arrangement up or down, it'll still sound like do, re, mi. So if a singer says they can't sing a song because it's too high or too low, you just move that pattern up or down accordingly, and it'll sound the same, but it's all pitched higher or lower. Now what I tried to do, just to help me, is knowing that arrangement of notes, I created a template in paper with holes in. The idea was I could place that over the chromatic scale underneath, and that would show me only the notes in the major scale. So in the key of A, they are the notes. The idea was I could slide that up and down to see different scales, because the pattern doesn't change. So if I was on, for example, starting on C, so the key of C, C, D, E, F, G, and I realised straight away, of course, that is absolute rubbish, because I've fallen off the end. So that is only good if I start there. If I start anywhere else, that is rubbish, I'm missing. So what I had to do, of course, was produce this, hopefully you can see it, which is 2 octaves. So A to A, 1 octave, and then it repeats there. So now I can slide my little template thing over the whole lot. So for example, in the key of C, I play that over. C, D, E, F, G, A, B. That is the major scale in the key of C. If I want the key of G, I slide it over there. G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp. The pattern is the same. So that was the idea of that. Separately to scales is chords. Now there's many different chords out there, but a chord is basically any 3 notes played together or more. So a basic simple chord would be 3 notes. Now one of the chords is the major chord. Now that is made up of certain notes in the major scale. It's the 1st, the 3rd and the 5th notes played together. So I created another bit of paper. So for a major chord is the 1, 3, 5. So if I place this over my key note, for example E, that tells me the first note is the E, the next one is a G sharp, the next one is a B. If I play those 3 notes together, that is the chord of E major. If I want to play the chord G major, G, B, D. Let's pick a weird one, B flat, D, F. Play those 3 notes, that is a major chord sound. So my idea for me, for learning purposes, I could use this to work out chord, and then I can extend that to go to 7th chords, 9ths. There's lots of different chords. The idea was a cover sheet that I could slide over this. Now, as you can see, this was getting a little bit unwieldy and quite difficult to read, all these bits of paper. Now, luckily, about a year ago, I bought a new record player turntable. So I got all my old records out from the 70s. And one of the records was Zeppelin Three, which is a great record. This is my original record from the 70s. The cover shows this little wheel device. There's a little rivet in the middle there, and as you spin that round, it shows different windows of photos of the band members and stuff. Well, that's quite a clever little, probably very expensive to produce. That device is called a Volvel. So I suddenly thought, if I've got 12 notes in the chromatic key, why not think of a clock? A clock has got 12 numbers. I could have all the chromatic key notes going around the outside, windows punched in to show the chords and the scales. And this is what I've created. Ta-da! So the idea is there's 3 bits of plastic bounded together with a rivet. On the inside track is a chromatic scale, and on the outside there's windows to cut to show the position of the major scales. So for example, if I'm in the key of C major, that shows me the notes of C, D, E, F, G, A, B, and back to C the octave. So I can turn that round to show different major scale patterns on the notes. The next one, key of G, G major, G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, back to G. So that pattern there can be rotated. The arrangement of gaps and notes doesn't change. So as well as the major scale, this device shows a lot more stuff. It also shows chords. Now if I flip it over, there's a chord calculator. So that is the 1st, the 3rd and the 5th. So for example, if you're looking at C major, you start at C at the top, the major is the red, you follow that round to E, which is the 3rd, and the 5th is a G. So C, E, G, those 3 notes, C major chord. And I can move this around to show any chord. Let's pick another one. E major, E, G sharp, B. Those three notes is E major. Now there's a lot more to it than that. I've also shown minor chords, diminished. I'm not going to explain it on this video. It's all in the booklet. But there's a lot more to it than that. So this shows seventh chords, diminished, dominant, sevenths and major minor. So there's a chord calculator that side. This side you've got the major scale. There's also the relative minor scale. And also above each chord type it tells you which chord to play to be in the key. For example, if you're in the key of A major and you want to play an A chord in the key, that would be a major chord. If you wanted to play a B, that would be B minor, C sharp minor, D major, etc. It also shows you the seventh type chords. So there's a lot more to the device than I'm telling you now. I'm just giving you a quick flavour of it. So the idea of this device, it's quite a sturdy bit of kit. That would sit on your music stand or on your desk as you're playing your instrument. And you can set it to a key, you can use it to work out chords and scales, you can use it to improvise a chord progression using a loop pedal or your phone, or you can get a mate to play, and you can use this to solo over. So there's standing data on there, but it's also an interactive tool to help you in your musical journey. The explanation I've just given is a very, very brief background to the basic concept of scales, keys and chord construction. There's obviously a lot more to it than that. The wheel has got lots and lots of information on there, and it's a useful starting point in your musical journey. But to help you, there is a 40-page manual that we've written, which takes you from zero knowledge right up to all the information you need to be able to use the wheel, and suggestions for steps beyond that. So you can approach this without any musical knowledge whatsoever. Obviously it won't help you with your particular instrument. I'm not showing you chord shapes or anything like that. This is just theory, but this will take you through all the knowledge you need to be able to use the wheel. So at the end of the day, I believe that this device is going to help you see at a glance the major and natural minor scale patterns in any key, which chord types to play for any root note in any key, chord calculator including seventh and diminished chords, and tips for chord progressions, improvising, soloing, that type of thing. The team here at Discover Music has spent hours fine-tuning the device, and we're convinced it will help you in your studies. It's certainly helping us.